I'm Matcha Mouse and I want to be a sprite artist for Pokémon Infinite Fusion. I can't exactly remember when, but sometime between the release of Black and White and Pokémon X and Y, Poketo Monster X and Y, the stars aligned and I somehow stumbled across my new home for the next few years, a website called Vizd. And man, did this place look ancient, and it still does. Not only did this website have every Pokemon GBA game, but I officially became indoctrinated into the world of ROM hacks, or Pokemon community games. Suddenly, I didn't need Black, or Diamond, or Ruby, because I had these new, incredible, more interesting homebrew games to discover. But recently, I decided to go back into this world and experience one of the most amazing community-driven games that I've seen. Pokémon Infinite Fusion. Only one of us can be purple in this town. Oh, you can't get me. Oh, holy crap, fusions! Oh my god, we're fused! I swear to god. Yeah! For the uninitiated, Pokémon Infinite Fusion is a community game created by Scroms,
or Frogman/Hypnotoad, as he presented himself on the Infinite Fusion Discord server,
and takes place in the regions of Kanto and Johto. Here, players can purchase DNA splicers and other items to fuse any two Pokemon from the Infinite Fusion Dex to make a cool but sometimes horrifying amalgamation of the two.
Oh yeah, I really like Golurk and Deoxys. What are they gonna make? I love it.
This is a cool one, and this was a cool one, and I really like this one a lot.
But really, there's a billion cool ones, and people are really great artists, okay? I can't show them all. You have to play the game yourself.
The most incredible and inspiring part about this game, in my opinion, is that potentially anybody can submit their own fusion concepts for a Pokemon and have them showcased within the game. If no artist has submitted art for a specific fusion that you see, and I still see them a lot, you get auto-generated fusions. Lame, but still really cool that this is even possible. But wait, you may ask, anyone can submit art for a fusion? Hey, that's funny you should ask, because today we're going to answer the question, how hard is it to become a sprite artist for Pokemon Infinite Fusion? The short answer to this question that I'm making this entire video about is that it depends. Are you a novice pixel artist that loves Pokemon and wants to try their hand at fusing two of their most beloved Pokemon together? Or are you a veteran artist that knows the ins and outs of general pixel art concepts, along with the specific style of a Pokemon sprite? Or maybe you fall somewhere in the middle, like me, I'd say. Wherever you lie on the spectrum, the first quest on our sprite-making adventure is to join the Infinite Fusion Discord server. This is the main hub for the game, and more importantly, where all the sprite artists congregate. Every single day, people are submitting new sprites, asking questions about the game, and submitting their applications to be a sprite artist. This is also where they announce what Pokemon are going to be added to the game next, because no, not every single Pokemon is in the game yet. While our first quest was to just be in the correct area, the real journey starts at the Apply for Spriter forum. Yes, that's it. Our ultimate goal is to be knighted by the Holy Paintbrush and attain the coveted Spriter role. If we look at the first thread here and jump to the top, we can find the subquest we need to fulfill to become a Spriter. Welcome, upcoming Spriter! Hey, that's me! Do you want your sprites to be seen in Pokemon Infinite Fusion? Yeah. Here's how! Here's an overview of everything we have to do. First, we need to read the Spriting Guidelines channel. Then, we need to create 3 sprites of conventional fusions, more on that later. Third, we need to post our work in Sprite Work and then wait for feedback. And then finally, we get to go and apply to be a spriter. Why I say that potentially anyone can make a fusion for this game is because Infinite Fusion gives the community a super in-depth guide on exactly what they're looking for in a fusion, and are exceptionally great at helping beginners get their fusions into the game. This includes pixel art programs to use, common pixel art guidelines, and a plethora of example sprites focusing on specific styling details, and a whole list of other resources for people to use. They want more sprite artists, and I really appreciate the attention to detail they give to beginners in pixel art, and Pokemon sprite-specific styling, because I didn't know exactly every detail of it. The people that work to create this all just for the love of Pokemon is honestly astonishing. If only Nintendo didn't hate its fans. And I'll be completely honest, when I first looked into this, I thought becoming a sprite artist was going to be some incredibly daunting task, and I needed to level up and EV train my tail off for it. But, you know, as it turns out, it did actually quite take me some time to get through it all, but not for the reasons you think. I was just procrastinating a lot. Anyways, let's start with Subquest 1. Read the Spriting Guidelines channel. Besides all the extra information about pixel art and the guides, which I highly recommend that you read, probably the most important section of information is what makes a fusion. The awesome people that run this game are looking for a very specific artistic style to give each of the hundreds of thousands of fusions some uniform qualities. While I'm not going to read out every single thing that they're looking for, everything about what makes a fusion is nicely summed up in this diagram right here. Head plus body equals fusion. Head plus body equals fusion.
Head plus body equals fusion. Head plus body equals fusion.
Got it. From this example, we can see the fusions are strictly composed of one Pokemon being used as the head and the other as the body. I call this the infinite fusion equation. I ran into a bit of trouble with this very important detail, but I'll touch on that later. I swear, if you just remember the infinite fusion equation, you'll be chillin'. Yes, I just wanted to say it again. Another highly important piece of information is that they're looking for fusions to also specifically be in the style of Pokemon sprites. For our purposes, that means that the light source is always coming in from the top left corner, and also do not use more colors than you have to for standard shading. Again, they want people to contribute to the game, so besides this example right here, they have a crap ton of other examples for every feature of a Pokemon might have, from like a rocky texture to like lightning and feathers. Go read that. Okay, sweet. See, we already completed one of our first quests. Not so hard, right? Assess how much help you need with pixel art, and then remember the infinite fusion equation. All right, let's move on to Subquest 2. Now that we have an idea of what they're looking for in a fusion, we can actually start drawing. Pixel arting, spriting? Arceus, I call myself a sprite artist and I don't even know what to call it. Anyways, okay, we need to create 3 sprites of conventional fusions where the head and body order is clear. That means no reference sprites, no unfused mons, no self-fusions, and no joke sprites. And just to touch on this, after you become a spriter, you have a lot more creative power with making sprites, and people have done some pretty cool and hilarious sprites, but for this application, we can't do any of that yet. So let's get started. For all of my fusions, I did them live here on YouTube, and you should check out one of my streams if you want sometimes. I'm live most days of the week playing games and making art, and fusions too. Also, definitely become a member if you want to. Okay, so for my first fusion, I did Lopunny and Shedinja, okay? I mostly did it for the memes, but also I really like Shedinja too. In the Spriting Guidelines channel, they give you a folder with PNGs of a bunch of Pokemon from gens 1 through 5 that you can use as a base for your fusion. So basically, in my pixel art program, A Sprite, I plopped them onto the screen from the folder, grabbed their colors, and got to work. Since I'm doing all of this live, I'm kind of put on the spot of what I'm gonna do. So right off the top of my head, I thought I would just give Lopunny the head and Shedinja the body, and then utilize the colors and attributes of Lopunny. So it's like a cute little fluffy bug guy. Isn't it pretty? Not really, but if you've ever played Pokemon Infinite Fusion, you'll quickly realize that a lot of the fusions are just inherently weird, and not calling anyone's art bad. It's not that the art is bad, it's just that fusing Pokemon inherently makes weird stuff happen. Cursed results, really. To add to the weird factor, I wanted to keep Shedinja's eyes on the head just with the Lopunny colors. Probably the hardest part for me was just trying to get the wings to look like Shedinja's, but still be fluffy like Lopunny's. And then I also gave the little Lopunny pom-poms in the front. But there it is, my first fusion ever. Wow, so cool. Let's just hope it doesn't get torn to shreds on the Discord server. My ego is really fragile. Before we look into how this fusion went on the application, let's go to the next fusion. After I was done with Ladinja or Shedunny, I decided to ask my community what I should do for the next one, and we landed on Scizor and Lucario. And Arceus, this one was so hard. Brain, we're live! Go! Creativity! Now! Go! I eventually landed on having Lucario as the head, but wearing Scizor's mask, and then using the rest of the elements from Scizor as armor on top, including his super cool claws and his wings and stuff. And you can't lie, it looks pretty sick. My boy is dressed in armor, ready for battle. But will all this armor hold up in the battle of the application to be a sprite artist? Welp. For this stream, I went in already knowing that I wanted to use Magnemite simply because it's pretty easy to do a small first form Pokemon, and through the sheer power of chat and memes, I finally landed on using Gardevoir. This one was definitely both easy and hard to find something good to do. An obvious choice was first replacing Gardevoir's head with Magnemite's body. You know, it makes sense, it's all spherical. Then I chopped her arms off and gave her a sick upgrade. Magnets! Then I shoved a giant screw in her head, and finally I stabbed another magnet straight through her chest for good measure. I guess another tough aspect of this was just some of the shading on the screw for the head, but for the most part I kept the normal shading of the original Gardevoir, while shifting her colors a bit just to maybe represent Magnemite a bit better. Overall, pretty simple, effective, easy, and I like it a lot. Now that we have our 3 fusions, we can move on to Subquest 3. So now we can take our 3 fusions and post them onto Spriteworks so the community can take a look and give us feedback. I made a forum for each of my sexy creations and labeled them with their correct Infinite Fusion Dex number for the head and the body. Make sure you label the sprites right because they'll tell you it's wrong. They also have cool commands that you can use to tell how many colors you used and if some of them may be a little too similar, but having a few similarities is okay from my experience. The other cool bot that they have lets you visualize your sprite in a battle scene, and after doing this, it definitely helps with seeing if your sprite is centered correctly or if the shadows work on the scene. So what did they think of Ladinja?
2 days later.
Okay, and there's a really cool third bot command that you can use that forces people to analyze your work, so let's do that. Oh shit, I actually did pretty well for this one. Just gotta fix up a few shadows. Hell yeah. Much like everyone else on the server, I found that the people assigned to critique your art are extremely kind and give great feedback. They even highlight the parts that you have to fix. And there we go. That's 1 of 3 that passed the test. Let's check out how Magnemite Gardevoir did. So basically, this person said that the sprite looks pretty good overall, but we might have used a little too many colors, but I guess it's fine. I asked another question and got no response, so you know what that means. Okay, so this kind soul answered, and also answered my question about similarities in colors. And they said that it looks nice and gave me a little bit more feedback. And I guess I missed a pixel right here. So it looks like another really simple edit with highlights and shadows, even though I basically used the same shading as the actual Gardevoir sprite, but I'm not gonna fight because I want to be a spriter. Now let's move on to the final boy. All right, colors look good. Looks pretty hot in the battlefield too. Okay, let's go. And then let's see the critique. Looks more like Lucario wearing scissor armor than the fusion of the two. So it'll have to be alted. Okay. But if that's what you're going for, looks good. Thank you so much. Do you think this is something I can submit to become a spriter, or should I do another one? Because it doesn't adhere to the fusion guidelines, specifically the what makes a fusion part, the execution is all good. They'll most likely say you need another one. Yeah, buddy, you didn't follow the equation. I know, I see that now. It's right here on my chest. I know, I'm sorry. Oh no, I have to do more art. Hey man, you don't have to yell. I'm literally just here to help. Look man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yell. I've just been going through a lot of stuff lately and can we get back on track here? Looks like I have to redo the fusion. Hey, at least they said it looked good. So again, the community and I backtracked on this quest, and together we landed on trying to do a fusion with Ponyta and Shinxie, little Shinxie boy. I definitely didn't want to go back and do the other one again just because I was a little salty. This one definitely gave me a little trouble at the start, just trying to get his face right. I really try to do as many features as I can from scratch just so I can make it my own style, and eventually I got there and I added some really sick lightning in place of Ponyta's fire. Before I submitted this one, someone in chat was crying to me to add freaking electricity on the head like Ponyta, and I didn't do it on stream just because he was telling me to do it, but I eventually did do it off stream because it was a good idea, after a few days of procrastination of course. So let's see how our baby boy did. I reviewed my old footage and I went back to the forum to look to see if there was actually no feedback on this one, and I really don't remember what happened here. But anyway, let's go to the final stage. The time has come to apply to be a spriter for Pokemon Infinite Fusion. New post. Add the correct title. Attach my sprites. Link to their Spritework threads. Add the spriter application tag. Click post.
20 minutes later.
Okay, so the results came in and we still need to do a few more edits, which is okay, you know, they're not just giving out these spriting rolls for free. With Magnemite and Gardevoir, I just had a little bit too much black on the back here, which makes sense and I'll fix that up easily. But then we got a great lesson with the Lopunny/Shedinja one, because in Pokemon sprite making and in pixel art in general, a good rule of thumb is to avoid staircasing, which is what I did here without realizing it. And it's kind of hard to even see it here, but it's basically when a line is moving diagonally, but you also have another pixel in the corner connecting the two. But hey, they said absolutely nothing about the Shinx/Ponyta one, which means slap that baby on the LinkedIn and make room on the resume, because on October 10th, 2024, I officially became a spriter for Pokemon Infinite Fusion. If you're watching this right now, go see if you can find any of my fusions in the game. I only have the 3 in there right now because I've been procrastinating and submitting others, but the 3 from the application are in the game for sure. The actual last step to getting your fusion into the game is when it's all done and people have looked over it, is then dropping it right into the Sprite gallery channel. From there, it'll be added into the game later on. But to wrap all of this up, I really don't think it's that hard to become a spriter for Pokemon Infinite Fusion. It's definitely a lot of work and waiting for feedback and navigating Discord. Actually, Discord isn't that hard and becoming a spriter is really easy. But if you like making art, then actually none of this is work and it's all just fun. Art is supposed to be fun. The people that run this game are absolutely incredible, and the vast community of spriters have made some pretty amazing and horrifying creations. If you've never played Infinite Fusion and you watched this entire video, I just want to say definitely go try it out. It's a lot of fun, and if anything, it's an interactive art gallery made by people who love Pokemon. I'll probably continue to make fusions live just for the fun of it, and I really hope you enjoyed my first big video. If you like what I've been doing here, please guys, please subscribe and give this video a like. And if you really like what I do, please consider becoming a member of the channel. I'm slowly adding more and more perks and content every single month. Thank you so incredibly much, and don't forget to pay respect to our Lord and Savior Ditorb.